Hey traders and investors, I'm Charting Man Dan with the Chart Guys. I use technical analysis to help me make money in the markets. We're going to check in on the markets after a rejection from the high of yesterday resistance levels, but bulls are still attempting to shape up weekly bull flags. Bitcoin bulls also out today, helping the coin swing trade I'm currently in. Let's look at the charts. All right, so the clarity to start today was on the futures 2-hour time frame. You can see this equilibrium 4-hour or 2-hour, but we got real tight. We broke bull into the end of the day and rejected right from the high at the moment. So looking at this setup, if I'm a bear, what I'm hoping for is that a bull break has zero follow through to set a daily lower high. We're looking for a weekly higher low to be the most likely result of current consolidation. As it currently stands, these are weekly bull flags. The simple statement is if weekly EMA 12 holds as support, these are weekly bull flags. So the only way this is not going to be a weekly bull flag is if we break the low of last week. So the bears have a lot of work to do as we are up near the high of the bounce at the moment. How that looks on SPY, we can say key resistance 529.31. We rejected from that level by 16 pennies, and then we've got 530.51 as the next level after that. NASDAQ, same deal. Equilibrium broke bull. High of that equilibrium, rejecting the price pretty much to the penny. Again, I'm bullish, but if bears are going to do anything here, it would need to be a rising wedge to set the daily lower high. So I put on my bear glasses and I watch for this over the next couple of days. If this breaks bear, it's a daily lower high being set. The NASDAQ does have some space for a possible daily lower high. So keeping an eye out for that. The frogs are out. So QQQ, anything under 459.74 is a daily lower high. So potential rising wedge watch into tomorrow. As I mentioned, I'm fully hedged up right now. And same as this candle, that's the first time in a long time we saw all major sectors hit the low of the day at the same time. QQQ, XLF, XLV. That happens, I grab portfolio protection. And so going to let this range play out a little bit, and I'll stop out if we get a new all-time high. Otherwise, I'll remain protected. We could see that QQQ was able to say that afternoon volatility is coming, and the reason for that was how tight we were. So again, no crystal ball, not even predicting direction. Expecting afternoon volatility, tight range to break within 30 minutes. And that pretty much 30 minutes was right here. And again, that's just an estimation saying, all right, we can't trade this tight for the rest of the day. There's too many hours left in the day. We know a break is going to happen. And so the most opportunity for trading in the day was in this final couple of hours as far as the amount of volatility that we saw. So again, we can utilize technical analysis and tightening ranges to help us prepare on when to be paying extra attention, or no, be patient until this range breaks, things like that. SMH still all bull. Key daily support 234.26. Simple statement here is if that level is support, the bulls have full control. And we know there's not going to be any weakness in the broader market in any meaningful way if NVDA is at all-time highs. And today we hit all-time highs and we had the all-time high close. So we're going to watch the daily uptrend as our guide on NVDA, the hourly back burner, leading to the daily higher low into continuation. We know that's the sign of a strong market when that happens. And still just watching the daily uptrend. But semiconductors helping lead the way. And again, you get clues. First thing this morning, within the first 10 minutes of trading, QQQ was dropping. And there was just rotation clearly on display. QQQ was at the low of the day in the first 5-minute candle. And while that was happening, XLF was at the high of the day. And so I was able to instantly recognize, okay, there's a little weakness in QQQ, but this is the standard healthy rotation. And unless it's something different than that, that's almost like the MO for the bulls. And when you see that happening, you know there's no significant fear or no significant weakness, and you can anticipate the bears are not going to see any significant follow-through if that rotation is taking place. And look at where we top. We top on XLF at 10 a.m. and QQQ, where's the low of the day hit? 10:10. So they just so often swap between those two sectors, the most important two sectors in the market for me. For me, QQQ is pretty much at this point semiconductors and big tech, and then XLF. Speaking of XLF, we have a triple bottom the last 3 days. Clearly, it's all about 41 in the short term. Multiple daily inside bars. Technically, we broke the low of yesterday, but only by, half a penny or penny or whatever. So low of Friday, low of yesterday, low of today, all holding that level, and a break is coming in the near term here. So we're watching for that break potentially tomorrow. If it's a bear break, we're looking down at the recent low, and it's another name that's trying to hold weekly EMA 12 for a healthy weekly higher low. It's just not convincingly shaping up yet. I would say right now, XLF is the weakest major sector over the last few days. XLV, all bull. Utilize historic RSI. On the 4-hour time frame here, granted it's not the lowest the 4-hour RSI goes, but if you go back and look over the last bunch of years, when the 4-hour RSI gets under 20, what happens? Far more often than not, we're going to bounce real soon. And so was able to say last week, keeping an eye out for an XLV daily bounce to get going, and it's gotten going in a big way. V-shaped bounce, nice tightening weekly equilibrium. This weekly equilibrium is going to break early in June here. Well, maybe not. Could last a few weeks. If we fail 146.95, possible another week or two within this range. Watch the direction that this tightening weekly range breaks. It will have some significant short-term implications on the broader market as a whole. IWM, I started this week with IWM as a top watch, looking for a long entry for a potential weekly cup and handle. And my mindset was if weekly EMA 12 holds, it's a bull flag. And then we gapped up open to start the week. Yesterday, I made an attempt at an hourly higher low, and I stopped out break even. And now I'm not interested anymore. It's still possible, but the fact that we gave back the entire move in 2 days with clear relative weakness has me a lot less interested. So it's still a support test. I'm still watching IWM, but we started the week top priority looking for an entry, and now it's not even in my top 10 priorities at the moment. So IWM, if bears follow through from here, similar to XLV, we'll be looking for a tightening weekly equilibrium for a lot of June. Tesla, volatility is coming here. You cannot get much tighter than this. Let's just look at this range. So this is the range that we've been within for quite some time. And we'll say that range, we got a 9% range, 5, 10, essentially 3 weeks of a 9% range. When's the last time we were in 3 weeks of a 9% range? When's the last time 3 weekly candles were that tight? And your answer, a long time. I would say, just rough visual here, this is the tightest the weekly chart has been over a 3-week period in at least 3 years. That's significant. That tells us a break in volatility is coming real soon. So it's just a battle between these levels. And the level for me is 173. Just forgot my buttons. Brain sometimes just stops working. 173, which we keep holding time and time again. 180, which we keep getting above, but no back test and hold. And so we're down near support right now. And again, if bulls show up tomorrow, it can take another few days. But this is the channel where we're going to get a clear break here, one way or the other. And today we had a drop, solid bounce, gave it back. Just patiently waiting for that break. Tesla's another one where I've attempted swing positions. I think I'm 3 stop outs in a row, break even. And that's me keeping a tight stop loss because bulls don't follow through. One of them was here. And, if you're going to give me that huge green candle, here we go, and then give it all back in 2 days, I definitely want to stop out, break even, right back to the sideline. Whenever I stop out, break even, it opens the trade back up to me. If I take a loss, then I'm a lot more picky and a lot less likely to jump right back in. But if the setup isn't invalidated and I stop out, break even, I can jump right back in right away and just have a new risk reward trade setup. But waiting on Tesla. Coin, nice big bull day today for coin thanks to Bitcoin. Bitcoin started the week strong yesterday and followed through today. And really, it's just the all-time high resistance right now that's being tested. It's a zone, pretty much 71 to 74, 72 to 74. High up today was just over 71. So there's a very clear resistance zone that we are still under, but nice defense of this short-term support zone. And so I thought I was going to stop out of coin. My stop loss is just under the daily high or low back here. Break even on the trade is about 208. So pleasantly surprised with today's move and need to clear 249 to try and see continuation of the daily uptrend. So how Bitcoin breaks that tight 2-day range, did break bull today, but we'll see if we get follow through. We can say these bulls are positioned well. If Bitcoin heads to all-time highs, I'm looking for coin to head up, another 10% plus. So we'll just let that ride out. The other crypto stocks, a good bit weaker. MARA trying. It's tight as well. Multiple weekly inside bars. CLSK weaker. And MSTR trying for a weekly bull flag. Keep an eye on crypto. Whenever you got a name that's this close, how many times did I say that about gold? Whenever you have a name that's proximity to all-time highs is very close, they deserve extra attention on your day-to-day basis or on your checking in of markets, because that's where the more opportunity is going to be as far as potential reward if we get another blue sky breakout. NVDA certainly showing us that for a long time now. Do you remember when everybody was talking, not everybody, do you remember when a lot of people on social media were talking about NVDA being overvalued at 400 and talking about the bubble? And the same people are still talking about NVDA being a bubble, and here we are over 100% higher. At what point do you say I was wrong? It doesn't mean we're not going to pull back in a big way eventually. Obviously we will, but if you're talking about a bubble at 400 and you're still talking about it at 1200, you're wrong. You were very wrong. Cannabis still extremely weak, looking for a short-term bounce, lots of space for lower highs. Just making note, GTBIF had a headline today about sending a letter to Boston Brewing, Sam, to try and get a merger going. That doesn't really mean anything to me. If Sam reached out to GTBIF, that would be very meaningful. But it worked as far as relative strength. So just pointing out that GTBIF, which a lot of people think is fundamentally the best name in the sector, it's testing the strongest it's been compared to the ETF in months, almost of the year. So that definitely stands out as far as a shift that's taking place. And so my attention in the sector is GTBIF and TCNNF more towards the fall. But if GTBIF, I traded it on that headline today, but if we get a big enough move to scout a daily uptrend, maybe I'll get interested in trying to nibble back a position. And that's because GTBIF is a potential long-term inverse head and shoulders with a top at 1650 and 1633. Metals, let's go dollar first. So dollar was weak in a big way yesterday, and our monthly lower high is officially set. Now we're going to watch for the possibility of a monthly high or low if we're going to keep tightening up. Melt up people like David Hunter think that the dollar is just going to straight drop from here. Maybe it does, but I'm definitely open to an equilibrium. But with that weakness, metal's not seeing much strength. Gold is testing its low of consolidation. And last week I exited all of my paper gold and silver and minor exposure. Paper meaning not physical. And I'm patiently waiting to look to re-enter if we set a weekly high or low, or at least give me a level to play off of. So for gold, anything above 2277 is a weekly high or low. Silver hit fresh lows today. Another leg down on silver. I had a real good exit on silver. That was essentially, oh, that's a big pullback. I wish I took a little bit of profit into that strength, and then getting a second chance to do so. And I used the second chance on miners as well. So exiting silver on that move, scouting a weekly high or low, watching EMA 12, still a ways away. And miners, my second chance for exit was this little bounce. And it exited a good chunk on Tuesday of last week. Little head and shoulders confirmed. So I'm watching metals and miners every day, looking for a potential re-entry for a weekly higher low, but also really patient. One thing that I like about these longer term swing trades, which are new to me over the last few years as a day trader, is that when I exit something that I like the longer term setup of, I can just be extremely patient and say, all right, well, if it gets back to where I sold, I'll just rebuy it at that same price. And so, a name like GDX now needs a 6% move up that would trigger me to saying, all right, I missed a cheaper reload. I'm just going to get right back in where I exited. But the ideal scenario, obviously, is I reload a good bit cheaper. And so I'm just being patient. Long story short, what that means is I can be very patient, knowing that I now have a lot. Just silver. Silver would need to see pretty much the same thing, 6% bounce. 7% bounce to get back to where I exited the most of it. So patient. Oil big drop over the last few days. We were scouting this monthly lower high for a long time, and it finally shaped up. How did it shape up? Just an uptrend changing to a downtrend. But now, like the dollar, watching for the possibility of a monthly higher low compared to 66.19 if we're going to keep tightening up through the summer. We're just going to look for a daily lower high as a result of the next bounce. We would need the daily uptrend to confirm as the first baby step for a monthly higher low forming. So certainly no sign of it at the moment. Energy sector, also watching for a monthly higher low. Remember, I was shorting the energy sector for the possibility of a rising wedge back here and stopped out. I think this is where I entered looking for the bear break, stopped out. I think that was a break-even stop out as well. I stop out break-even a lot because I'm taking a lot of trades. The ones that don't stop me out break-even, I let run like coin. But I like break-even stop outs. But no red flags longer term on this XLE chart. XLU is up testing the all-time high. Lots of space for a monthly higher low. There next week, next consolidation. All right. I hope you're well. Do good things. Patiently waiting for weekly bull flags or not on SPY and QQQ, and extra attention to Bitcoin as we hover just under all-time highs. Real cool salamander guy living in my mulch pile.